Nearly 2,000 miles of hot, dry, and often inhospitable terrain make up the US-Mexico border. But millions of people have made it their home, and both Mexico and the United States have built dozens of roads and bridges to connect both sides. So what happens if one side closes its entire border? Is that even possible? Or does President Trump really mean imposing tariffs to build a sort of economic wall?
I have no idea how this president will go about closing the southern border.
That's the question immigration experts are asking, trying to imagine how a US president can close a border that sees millions of legal crossings every month, in addition to billions of dollars in goods moving from one country to another. For now, though, President Trump has abandoned his threat to immediately close the border and instead gave Mexico a one-year ultimatum to halt illegal immigration.
I never changed my mind at all. I may shut it down at some point, but I'd rather do tariffs.
But tensions at the US border are not new.
First of all, if passed, this bill would be the biggest commitment to border security in our nation's history.
When laws and borders are routinely violated, this harms the interests of our country.
And for the last 2 years, we have been hard at work to try to fix a system that everyone agreed had serious problems.
The present-day boundary with Mexico, which came after wars and signed treaties, was established in 1853, and since then, U.S. authorities have built 24 ports of entry. That's 24 land border crossings that start in San Diego, which has one of the busiest land border crossings in the world, to Brownsville in Texas, where nearly 800 trucks cross every day. Along those nearly 2,000 miles, the U.S. has built 700 miles of physical barriers.
4 southbound on McLaren Road.
Calling out a subject that's running back south towards the river.
Border Patrol uses a mix of fencing, vehicle barriers, and levees, mostly in the western states, where the government controls large swaths of land. The rest, 13,000 miles, is dotted with rough mountains, expansive deserts, and the Rio Grande.
I don't think any of the options make a lot of sense, logistically or legally speaking, and certainly not economically speaking, so I'm really not sure what this will ultimately look like.
But what about industries that rely on shipping products across the border?
La afectación que tiene el transporte también es fuerte para nosotros, pero yo creo que los más afectados en todo esto es nuestra industria.
It seems impractical that the border could be closed to trade indefinitely, as the president debates whether to close the border or put tariffs on Mexico's car imports. Mexico's car industry would be the most affected, but so will Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky, which rely heavily on suppliers in Mexico for car seats, ignitions, wires, and other parts. In 2017, Texas imports were nearly $6 billion in auto parts from Mexico alone.
This business president is making decisions absolutely against the business interests of the country that he's chief executive.
I share his concern about the crisis at the border and that we have to do something. I hope it doesn't come to that. It would not be good for us to close the border, but I'm going to support the president if he makes that ultimate decision.
But as politicians debate, some say the situation at the border has become alarming and that something must be done.
So you have this, people rushing before it happens. And now it's out of control. Now you hear, now I hear that, hey, he went to USA and he crossed, I want to go to, so now it's spreading. So I think he's not helping the situation by talking too much.
I'm Robin Gavon at The Washington Post. Real journalism matters. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow the latest in our reporting, analysis, and features. Sorry.
That was incredible.